Hey everybody, welcome. We are looking at the best decks in Disney Lorcana this week. Usually I do these once a week as a video. This week it's different. It's actually a live stream. It's going to be longer therefore because we're going to have more decks to look at, more time, and just a little bit more relaxed. A big shout out to Card Market, as usual, who sponsor the YouTube stream. But today's Twitch stream, thanks Card Market, is actually sponsored by Arcane Rush, which is a new auto battler for mobile and things like that. And we're going to be playing that later on in today's YouTube stream. So let's take a look at what tournaments we had this week. We're going to talk a lot of the time when I look at these, when I do these meta reports, I always tell you like how I would play the deck, and we'll probably do that today. Like I'll show you guys kind of how I would personally build the deck. Let's start off with this one in Malmo, because I played in this one, and look, damn, third place, rip. I was top seed. A lot of you would have seen the stream. Top seed, dropped one game in Swiss. It was 2-game format, so I went 1-1 with, I think it was Andre's bounce, Amethyst Steel. I basically hit 3 B preps. And then, unfortunately, I queued into my friend Samir, who was playing Jafar Will in the semi-finals. It's definitely a tough matchup. Yen Sid, eh? So, this Yen Sid, I actually only have 3 Tremaines. I only had access to 3 Tremaines. It should be a 4th Tremaine, is my gut feeling. And then the deck is beautiful and very optimized. What you'll see is when I build decks, I like my play sets of cards. I like 4 ofs. Funnily enough, I'm playing Star Wars Unlimited at the moment, working on a big video, which has basically consumed my whole 2 weeks. Basically, I'm going from noob to complete pro in Star Wars Unlimited, hopefully in about 10 days. But yeah, my challenge culminates this weekend at a major event, which I will be streaming, and then making a big 2-hour documentary on my progress, starting off with like me learning the game. So I explain the rules to everybody, and I'm basically going to be doing that for every card game under the sun. So probably One Piece will be next, but yeah, I'm really excited for that. I'm definitely moving more into variety TCG stuff while continuing to do Lorcana. But yeah, basically like a big problem that Ruby Amethyst has this set. The Yen Sid was just like, come on, it's funny. I played Yen Sid at Seattle DLC, the only DLC I played. Hence I have the name Broom Boy in some circles. The Yen Sid was absolutely terrible. I thought it would be fun to put it in. It was not fun. It was awful. I just think every time I think I did put it down once and drew a card, but yeah, I think I was just supposed to think it. But yeah, this deck is very solid. I think it's well positioned in the meta. Basically, a big trap that I think a lot of people are falling into with Ruby Amethyst is they're wanting to cram in 2 drops which don't need to be crammed in. I mean, I even did it. This could be a Kuzco, for example, right? But I think you're best off just playing the 1-drop line. Your turn 2 is a 1-drop and another 1-drop. Now, that can be a little bit inconsistent at times, but putting cards like Kuzco in the deck, which are kind of just terrible, feels pretty bad to me. I don't like putting bad cards in my deck. And your main line, even if you have Kuzco, you're going to be inking Kuzco on turn 2 if you've got like the double 1-drop line. The other thing I was thinking about that you could do is you could add in like another 1-drop. I was actually thinking about putting a Maleficent 1-drop in here instead of the Yen Sid, because that would have been a bit of a trademark. And I honestly think I've always felt like Ruby Amethyst is an argument to play Maleficent or 2. The thing is, in Ruby Amethyst, is you have really expensive uninkables, so it's the Maleficent in your deck comes at a higher cost and it's less value without Pete and stuff, right? So I was very tempted. It honestly wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but the fact that you've got like these high-end uninkables in Ruby Amethyst means that you probably should not do that. But this Yen Sid, if I was to play again, I would just make it a Tremaine. Maybe a B King Undisputed. I think that's a good card. But yeah, I think it's a really optimized version of Ruby Amethyst. Some people playing Forbidden Mountain, I think that card's just bad, to be honest. Whereas like the Fairy Ship and the Library are really good. Like the Library feels so good in Ruby Amethyst. Interestingly, some people are trying to play Library in Amethyst Steel. I would strongly advise you don't do that. Let's actually we're going to look at all the tournament decks, but a lot of you guys are probably more interested at times in like how I would build lists. So here is my story deck. Hey guy, what's up? Here's my story deck on my burn deck for this week. I didn't actually change it. I probably would have considered putting a 4th dock in. Is the only thing I would really consider. In my opinion, this is without doubt. I mean, okay, maybe not without doubt, but in my opinion, this is the most serious way of playing Amethyst Steel this set, which is as an aggro deck. I think it's the best aggro deck in the format. I'm still going strong in the LCC. We can actually take a look. Maybe we'll do that. We'll take a look at the pro deck list from the LCC. This is mine. There's 8 players left. And I queued a good matchup going into round 2. I'm against Sapphire Steel. So far I beat Sailor on Ruby Sapphire, even though I didn't have my Maleficence, which has made it very difficult for me. I submitted the round 1 deck list on 0 testing, really, just as a concept. But the concept has proven to be a good one. It just does very well into the metagame. You definitely need to play clean lines. But I think you're pretty much favoured into all of the top meta decks, with the exception Amber Steel and Emerald Steel, which aren't as popular. Those, unfortunately, are the 2 decks I've queued in back-to-back rounds. I got unbelievably unlucky in the end to lose against Kurt, who was on Emerald Steel. It's honestly crazy that I got myself into such a winning position, but just didn't really draw the right cards at the right time. I did win the die roll. I would have been toast if I had lost it, but I ended up losing that one 2-1. A lot of you would have seen it. Game 1, I have a turn where I'm in a winning position basically, and I go like Pete, and I want to go like Maleficent and some 1-drops, or just like Pete and a Smee, or like some kind of wide board. And I think my turn was something like Pete Broom, Fire the Cannons. It was really slow. I think I had 6 ink maybe even, and it was literally like Pete Broom, Fire the Cannons. It was something terrible. And then the following turn, all I needed was a Cobra to win. I had 3 in the deck and about 20 cards left in deck, maybe like 25. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. So that was very sad. But yeah, then I managed to beat Zach. The fact that I, had a very competitive game against Emerald Steel, because the Chromicon was just able to draw me so many cards. Like, bro literally had to go dock, discard 20 cards to stay in the game. So I think that was pretty good, because it found them the Pete, which meant I couldn't use my Gathering Knowledge, but all I needed was a Cobra, and I was fine, because I had Bounce in hand, so I could have gone Cobra, Snake, 4 lore for 5 ink. Would have been really, really good. So why is this version of Amethyst Steel good, and I'm not advising you to play like a more traditional? You can definitely play a traditional version of the deck. The thing is like, if you're playing a traditional deck version of the deck, you're playing a mid-range deck. And if you're playing a mid-range deck, what do you guys think is going to be a better mid-range deck, realistically? Amethyst Steel or Sapphire Steel? I think we all know the answer. You're just kind of putting yourself at a disadvantage, whereas in my opinion, what you're supposed to do in a meta like this, you're just supposed to polarize. You've got on one side of the scale, you've got polarize is like a word I really like in card games, and I think it drives a lot of my deck building philosophy. I learned it from Gwent, who a German friend of mine, a pro player called Gravesh from Gwent, always used to go on about polarization in deck building. And I think that concept, while applied very differently here, helps. Basically, in Gwent, you had a provision system where some cards in your deck cost 4 provisions, which are the cheapest, and some cards cost like 13. So like a 13 provision card is like your best cards. They're kind of like gold cards or bronze cards, right? You can have cards that cost 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And basically the general idea of polarization in Gwent was that you want to include a lot of really cheap cards in your deck, because then that means your top end cards are really good. Now, polarization in this context means something very different, but I think that just considering how to polarize a deck is a good idea, because basically what it means is if you don't polarize your deck and you play it safe, like Amethyst Steel mid-range is a very safe deck. It's not polarized. It's trying to do a bit of everything, right? If you have like that kind of approach, it can work in the right metagames, but the metagame we're in is that there is a very extreme amount of Sapphire players, right? There's a really extreme amount of very strong decks, and so playing like a safe deck, I'm not quite sure is necessarily the right approach, whereas the approach I've gone with this is I am polarizing my deck in the sense that I'm going full turbo mode. I've got a deck which knows exactly what it is, and it's not apologizing for it, right? It's not trying to be something it's not. It's not trying to think that I can outvalue Sapphire Steel. It is trying to go under them. And it's as simple as that. And the reason that you play Amethyst and Steel is, well, you're always playing Amethyst for any kind of aggro deck. Why? Well, they've got the best one drops in the game by far, with the Chernobog, the Diablo, the Broom. You've also got the Maleficent, which isn't actually a very good card, guys, but you know what it is really good with? And it's really good with the Snake and the Fox. It's actually not the Maleficent that's insane, believe it or not. It's Snake and Fox when paired with Maleficent. It's why, you know, I don't think Lilo's insane. I used to love Lilo in set 1, by the way. I've always been a big aggro fan. Fox and Snake really good with the Maleficent. And you saw also in my game against Zach, the Maleficent is really good to turn on the pressure in the late game. It's particularly good with Pete as well. You play the Chromacon, you draw a bunch of cards. Pete, Maleficent, you can't be touched. It's guaranteed lore. It's really strong. So really the question isn't like why Amethyst Steel, it's more like why are you pairing Steel with Amethyst, right? And actually the biggest reason initially is just because of, well, there's actually a few, right? Like if you look at all of the Steel cards I'm playing, they're all incredibly high quality. You're basically going to be building a deck with Amethyst where you've got like 50 Amethyst cards. So then the deck building question should be, okay, you're playing Amethyst, what are the best cards in the game that you could put in this deck? It's a thought experiment I like quite a bit. If you've got a 56 card deck of Amethyst cards and you could pick one card in the entire game to go alongside them, what would it be? And it might be Pete, frankly. It probably is, right? It probably is Pete, actually, with your Snakes and Foxes. It's probably Pete. And interestingly, I was not actually that convinced about putting Pete in this deck initially, but it just proved to be great. With the Chromacon, it's so strong. Like, you give your opponent a bunch of cards in hand, but it doesn't matter, right? Usually a big weakness of the Chromacon is your opponent can sing so many songs, but when you've got Pete and Repeat and all that, it's amazing. Obviously, Cobra's very good as well, and you can only play it in Amethyst Steel. And a big reason I built this deck in the first place was, well, Cobra, and bear in mind, like, most of this deck was all theory crafted without any playtesting. I think there's only a few changes from the deck that I played with 0 playtesting and submitted, which is, initially I had no Benjit in the deck, and I tested one game, and I added Benjit in. Not sure. I think I cut, like, I don't know. But there's not a ton of changes. So, like, Maleficent wasn't in the deck somehow initially, but obviously got added in very quickly. There was no dock, there was no fire the cannons, there was no fairy ship, and that's it, right? So there's basically Maleficent came in incredibly quickly, and then like the dock and fire the cannons came in shortly thereafterwards, and the fairy ship's the latest edition. Benji was in the deck for a while. Benji's still great. What happens when they drop a bell on turn 1 on the play? Yeah, so the matchup against Sapphire Steel, right? That's actually a really good question. The biggest deciding... And I think, bear in mind, I still haven't actually played this deck that much. I really haven't. I haven't really played this set that much. I mean, I have, but not as much as you might expect. I don't play on simulators for Disney Lorcana because I take my role as a commentator quite seriously, and I don't think it's, you know, viewed upon positively. And I think that kind of does put me a bigger disadvantage than unless like people probably realize. I mean, like, you know what I mean? I'm not slamming simulators. Yeah. I had like a no sim policy. And I have to say, I used to anyway. I have to say I've been using a simulator for Star Wars Unlimited, and it is incredible how much more practice you can get in a short space of time. But I digress. This deck's really good. What do you do against Sapphire Steel? A lot of Sapphire Steel players I've spoken to, for example, Artabax, who I saw about 3 weeks ago now, I was just like saying, oh, you know, I might queue into you. And he was like, yeah, I'll be mega favored. His list has probably changed a bit by now, but I think, and he was very confident, and I actually believe he's wrong. I think it's really easy to underestimate how good this deck can be into a slower Sapphire Steel deck. I'm playing against Sapphire Steel. It's going to be on Monday, my game, up against LD. We'll pull his list up now. I haven't tested the matchup. I haven't played against Sapphire Steel hardly, but I'm really confident that I'm favored. I haven't tested it yet. Admittedly, LD's deck is a lot slower than the one that Artabax had back then. Let's pull it up. What happens if they put Bell down on turn 1 and they're on the play? Well, okay, then you're not so favoured. But it's not like it's over, right? It's not suddenly over. But the biggest deciding factors, without doubt, in that matchup are going to be, does your opponent... I'm the only person that didn't change their deck for this week, by the way. I just kept mine the same. I probably was going to put in an extra dock. Let's actually something I'm considering. So this is LD's list. What do you do if they put Bell down? Well, okay, the biggest deciding factors are who's going first. Whoever's going first has probably got the edge, right? Regardless, on average. And then the other big factor is, do they hit Bell? Those are your two biggest deciding factors, right? So if your opponent is going first and they find Bell, are you favored? Surely not. Right? That's fine. I mean, honestly, against this deck, maybe still. Yeah, like, but that's you're gonna struggle. You're gonna struggle as an aggro deck. If you're going second and they hit Bell, it's an uphill battle. Of course it is. You're not going to be favored then. But how often does that happen? Well, they go first 50% of the time, and I think they've hit Bell 50% of the time, roughly, if they hard mulligan for it, right? So that's only happening 25% of the time. Quick maths, everyday man's on the block. So that's super fine, right? If that's the case, it's not an issue. But yeah, like if they hit Bell on turn one and they're going first, you're going to struggle. But honestly, into this deck, I still think I've got a serious chance. So LD's list, obviously, I kind of hate this tournament format. I'm going to be honest, guys. You're allowed to change your deck list mid-tournament, which is... I hate it. I completely hate it. It did bail me out initially because I had to submit my deck without testing, but I just think that the deck submissions should have been like a week after the tournament started, and then you should not be changing lists. Hey Magnus, good to see you. It's turning into a bit of a fiesta at this point. I'm honestly kind of losing my mind about it. Like, if I win this round, there's only 3 people that I can play against, and suddenly my aggro deck is going to be a lot worse because people are actually incentivized to tech for my aggro deck. Fortunately, I haven't quite hit that point yet where people are teching for me, but like, there's a good chance going into the next round, I'm just going to have to throw a curveball out and randomly play Jafar, unironically, or like a location deck. It's going to be... It's such a fiesta. I hate it. I just want to play my deck, mate. You know what I mean? Like, my whole deck is a meta call about this tournament, and suddenly we're going to go into the later rounds and people are going to start teching against me. It's just ridiculous. It's... Honestly, I am very not happy about the format. I've got to be honest. I hate it. Now, that's not to take anything away for people organising it and working really hard. Pavel's a good friend of mine, and I've got nothing but respect for what he's doing for the community. But I absolutely hate the format. I think it's complete garbage. Really bad. I do like the double elimination bracket, though. I think that's cool. I just hate that you can change your deck indefinitely. There should have been like a hard cutoff point where you can no longer change your deck, at the very least. But that's not happening. Like, the final of this tournament is going to be such an anticlimax because the 2 people are going to know what color combination their opponent's playing, and they can make a whole wonky deck. I said from day one, the optimal strategy for this tournament maybe was to play Amber Emerald and switch between Hyper Aggro and Discard. Hey Joe, what's up? Oh, we're not playing Sabine anymore, my friend. Oh no, we're playing Luke Skywalker, baby. But we are doing the big sector qualifier, the major event this weekend in Liverpool, and I should be streaming. We pray. That actually reminds me. Hey Google, set a reminder for 11:30 p.m. to pack a extension cable. Nice. Heard Moyen was saying grand final's going to be 1 set. I have no idea, mate. I hope not. I mean, at the very least, whoever's in the winners bracket should be going first, right? I don't know, mate. The format's a bit scuffed. I'm not going to lie. It's unfortunate. Truly. My bigger belief is a tournament like this should be showcasing the gameplay of Digital Lorcana that players and viewers can expect to see at their local game stores and is reflective of that. Unfortunately, this format does not achieve that. For now, it's fine, but even like a list like this, you're not going to probably see a deck like this now at your locals. I mean, people might start doing it, but it's very much teched for the Sapphire heavy lower bracket. Unfortunately for LD, they queued into the Hyper Aggro gamer. Hello! So yeah. If I win, which I mean, I imagine I will, haven't tested it. He's only on 2 storms, right? Like, I don't really see how I can lose, actually. That's a big statement, but I don't really see how I can lose. Nah, I can definitely lose. Scrooge McDuck's good. He is ramping as well. I can definitely lose. But I think I'm in a good spot. But yeah, that's LDs. Let's take a look. But yeah, so someone asked how do you play the fairy ship. Basically, the key with the fairy ship is like, I don't know, it's just a good card, isn't it? You tend to not play Maleficent on turn 1. She tends to be a turn 2 play, usually. But yeah, the fairy ship's like the main use is you play it on turn 2. Bam, bam. It's just a good card in the meta game. It's just another 1-drop. Which increases your odds of being able to go triple 1-drop turn 2. Like, you don't want to be playing Smee on turn 2. There's sometimes you'll play a snake on... You go Maleficent 1, snake 2, but that's only if it's like a matchup where you need to kind of control the board a bit more, which this probably isn't. Probably my I mean, the fact he's only playing 1 dime is probably why I don't think I can lose, to be honest. If he was on multiple dimes, I would be a little bit spooked, because he can turn the burner on very quickly with Tamatoa dime. But the fact he's only playing 1 of them... Now, this is my opponent's. I don't play blue steel, bro. I ain't into that. This is my deck. So, yeah. Why this deck and why not like a normal Amethyst Steel deck? It's like, what do you really benefit from by playing like the mid-range? Okay, you can play Strength. Strength, by the way, could be good in this deck. I just don't think you really need it. Like, as soon as you're putting Strength in the deck, you're trying to be something you're not. Just accept what you are, which is a hyper aggro deck that goes very quick. And that's that. Let's look at some of the tournaments. Because there was some big ones, right? We had like a big one in Italy. Let's start with that. We're a bit late into the video to be starting with it. Yeah, this meta is flipping gross, mate. I'm not going to lie. I'm not really vibing with the meta, guys. That is a lot of blue. Do you know what like surprises me is that more people haven't picked up my deck. I'm really surprised. I don't know. I guess people don't like winning. You know when you have like a deck which is really good and just everyone's overlooking it? It's kind of interesting. Like, this deck is really good. Really good. Really, really good. But no one's playing it. People hate playing aggro, huh? Show me your deck. I mean, it's here. It's there for all to see. It's interesting that people hate aggro so much. Like, good players don't like playing aggro. I actually think aggro is a lot harder to play than people recognize. It's more punishing on mistakes, right? Like, you need to play optimally. Yeah, I mean, it's a bad matchup against Amber Steel, but I did beat Zach Bivens playing Amber Steel, so it can't be that bad. Like, the thing is Amber Steel's kind of trashed this meta. So I would say that my deck is just a little bit ahead of the meta, at least because I built it 3 weeks ago. I'm just about 3 steps ahead. So when, for example, I played it at my first tournament, it wasn't really a good pick. Like, I would say that this is a good pick for like a highly competitive event, but it's not necessarily, I wouldn't say it's a good pick for like your local game store night, right? You know what I mean? Because it does have a lot of bad matchups into like generic decks. But into like the actual meta, it's very, very good. I think people probably underestimate how good this deck is into Sapphire Steel, particularly because a lot of the Sapphire Steel decks are just getting slower and teching for each other, right? Like this one. It's just so slow. It's got no chance, I would imagine. I have said that before, though. All right, let's take a look at the other deck lists from... Oh, no, let's look at this. Sapphire Steel by Luca took it down. All right, cool. Scrooge McDuck. You remember I did a tier list, guys, before the set was out, and I said that I think Scrooge McDuck is better than Tamatoa, and you guys all said I was quackers. Turns out I know a thing or two about card evaluation, huh? This card's insane. My friend Kenneth Anderson is the artist. I need to get some signed. Yeah, Ariel sneaking in. There was some drama with Zan having like an aerial or something in their deck when they weren't supposed to. Uh-oh. You guys see that? Feels bad playing aggro on the draw. This deck's kind of fine on the draw though. It's really, really not bad. But yeah, you need to have like very, very smooth plays on the draw. If you make like a subtle misplay, it's going to be incredibly painful. Amethyst still running Calhoun. Yeah, Calhoun's fine. I just don't like the card that much personally in this deck. I actually, on my first iteration of the deck before the set came out, I had like a couple of Calhouns, but they ended up getting removed quite quickly. I never tested them. The thing with Calhoun is I don't like playing it on turn 2. I don't like playing 2-drops on turn 2. So playing an uninkable 2-drop which you don't play on turn 2 feels a bit weird. But yeah, I can see it. Like if you're playing more mid-rangey, Calhoun's nice. I just don't really like the card that much. I just like turning sideways. So Ruby Sapphire. This meta is truly, truly, truly gross. Is this the worst meta we've ever had? Probably. Maybe. It's not good, is it? You gotta hope Worlds is not on this meta game. I wonder if we're gonna see bans. If you were to say to me right now, alright Specky, ban some cards, most of them would be set 2 cards, I think. I would ban Hiram. I would ban Smee. I would ban Fox. I think that would be my starting point. I would ban Storm and Strength. Sapphire Coil's fine. I think that card's a problem. What else would I ban? Because I don't think I mentioned any Ruby Sapphire cards. Oh, I did. Hiram. Yeah, so I would ban Hiram, Smee, Storm, Strength. They're all set 2. Set 2 is the problem set, I think, for Lorcana. I would argue. If you actually, like, even though set 2, you don't think there's that many broken cards, there really is. I think set 2 kind of messed up a bit. I mean, even Cindy, right? I mean, Belle is a whole other level, but, before Belle existed, Cindy was nutty. Like, there's so many terrible cards in this set, and you've just got, like, the occasional random banger, like Fox. How was this printed as inkable? I mean, you could even argue, like, Goat and stuff, but Fox is the best of the bunch by far, right? Like, I think Goat's fine. Snake's insane too, but Fox is just... Like, this card is so overstated, it's unbelievable. Bucky was in the set as well, by the way. Look at that. There you go. Prince John's a nutty card. Hiram. Porpsicle. Storm. Strength. You know what I mean? There's a lot of insane cards in this set. Strength, Storm, Hiram, Porpsicle. Porpsicle is just a ridiculous card, isn't it, really? Oh my days. I mean, even Prince John, Bucky, Fox. Crazy set. I think particularly Hiram, Smee, Fox, and probably Storm and Strength. I mean, honestly, Storm is not really that overpowered. It's more just like the Bell, to be fair, but, design space-wise, it's quite limiting. Storm's just insanely good. Yeah, but I mean, this card should not exist. This card is so broken. Like, why has it got 6 willpower? You know what I mean? How has it got 6 willpower and it's inkable and it draws 2? And it draws more when it quests. And there's a 1-cost Sapphire card which draws and can heal. Like, it is nuts. Got Japanese falls for a lot of the cards. Nice. So yeah, I think hey Padarin. Dzień dobry. I love Poznan. Poznan is a lovely place. I'd love to go back and visit. I top 4'd a tournament in Poznan. Happy days, mate. Mufasa, you mean Bufasa. So this Sapphire Steel came 3rd at the Law League. in Italy. I would have liked to have gone, but unfortunately wasn't able to in the end. I mean, I was in Malmo having a great time anyway. Sing Together. Now, I do want to play this deck. It's not playing Tramp, which feels like a surprise. When's the quest tour number 4? I would be down. 1 week after Jafar. Okay, I am not down. I'm somewhere else. Is that like the 6th of June or something? I think I am somewhere else. But thank you. I'm booked, mate. I'm a busy guy. I'd love to go back to Poznan though. Why is this deck strong? Well, Discard's always good against Sapphire in general. I am surprised it's not playing the big tramp. To me, the big tramp is a no-brainer in this one. I still don't really like the way people build these decks that much. But yeah, I don't know. A problem with this deck is it's quite reliant on the muses. It's interesting to see it though. Like, I'm glad it's doing well. I'm not too surprised. I think Kida Under the Sea has got to be good. I would build the deck quite differently to how most people build it though. I mean, it'll be very similar. I really don't like Sahis for starters. I think that card is terrible. I don't really understand why everyone's so obsessed with Sahis. It's really bad, in my opinion. It's a it can sing. One thing I will say that I like about Luca's list is, oh my god, finally someone listens to me and plays 4 copies of Painting the Roses Red. Usually, when I see Amber Emerald decks, I see 3 Painting the Roses Red and I dislike the deck already. But this one's got 4, so that's nice. Now, the small key is not very good. But I would play 4 Kida. Last time I played the deck, also was tempted by 4 Under the Seas and strike a good match to combo. The thing is, it's very difficult to actually fit everything you want in this deck. I think this deck really has going for it, though, is Diablo singing Bare Necessities is very strong. It's one of the strongest things it can do, but yeah, it's like, it's not quite there, is it? Like, the Tramp would be interesting, but again, how the heck do you fit everything? Muses is kind of pants in this metagame against Sapphire Steel, but I guess that's fine. You've got Kida Under the Sea. I just think 3 Kida is probably not enough. But yeah, it's cool. Nice to see it do well. But like, that's the only oh my god, it's so gross. It's the only non-Sapphire deck in the top 16, and it's not even a fun one. It's like a 2-set old deck. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm not really feeling the Lorcana meta. I'm not really feeling it at all. Ending text. I have to say, the Star Wars meta is not much better. Not much better. Star Wars has got a broken deck at the moment. I picked the game up last week and there's like a tier 0 deck. But Emerald Steel, discard. Gantu. Not much. Not much. Okay, we've got a Ruby Amethyst. Cool. Yeah, it's just a bit sad there's like not really anything new that we're seeing here, right? Like, okay, this is different. Top 32 Amber Steel with... I really do like this Jafar card. This is a nice deck. But sadly, it's probably just a worse version of Sapphire Steel, right? This deck's cool too. I won a Stitch champion mat with Emerald, Amethyst, discard. So it's nice to see it making a return. I say a return, I'm not sure anyone else ever played the damn deck, but I always liked it. Amethyst Emerald was in a better position in the most recent set, so it didn't really feel the need to try and play Emerald, Amethyst, discard. But it's always been a deck I've been interested in. Ursula Deceiver of All singing Friends and Sudden Chill, but there's no Ursula Deceiver of All. Which I don't really understand why you wouldn't play that. Bit burned out. Yeah, probably everyone is. So a big advantage is that should I build my? I kind of next time I play in an event, which probably isn't for a while, I would be tempted to play this. Let's actually throw together how I would build it, because I think it's an interesting one to look at. And as a man that did win a Stitch with Prince John Purple. All right, so we're playing Diablo. Diablo's a pretty good card. We're playing Foxes. Like, I think that is actually the starting point with this particular deck, right? Like, I mean, it's certainly Fox and it's certainly Diablo, right? That would be a good starting point. So you're going to play the 1-cost green Diablo too. All right, and then it's like, you're also going to play this Diablo. So you've got like the mega consistent shift. Then you need to think about like what songs do you want for Diablo to sing, right? And there's not an abundance, but Friends is the obvious one. Sudden Chill's probably the other that comes to mind. You definitely need the discard kind of game plan with this deck. I mean, this card's not bad either. You could go like a full aggro brew. That's the other thing, right, that you could actually do with this deck. You could just embrace the aggro. Build a meta deck against super fun. That's true. That's true. I don't really like playing meta decks personally, though. I just want to see. I just don't like looking at all of these top decks, and it's like very, very little that catches the eye ever. It does just feel like the top decks in this current set are a bit too oppressive. However, I think that people really need to start looking at aggro decks more. I would be down to play more aggro decks, but I don't know, man. I'm not really feeling. Not really sure what's happening with me and Lorcana at the moment. I'm feeling a little bit Don't get me wrong, I love the game, but I don't know. I just think I'm maybe wanting to explore some other games at the moment. League of Legends card game coming out as well. I'm just not really sure my efforts are quite worth it at the moment, I guess. Sadly. But I digress. If you hate meta decks, don't play Pokemon. I will play Pokemon soon. I'll do a video. But yeah, I like the Sudden Chill, the Hypnotize. Probably will be in the deck too. Sudden Chill Friends. Have they got any other songs that they can sing? Bruno, but obviously you can't sing that with Diablo. Ursula 2 is very good this meta, right? Like that's another big advantage of playing green. Ursula 2 kind of went out of fashion for a bit, but she's good again. Yeah, League of Legends is getting a physical card game. I've got some of the cards behind me. That's coming out this year. You can expect mind-blowingly large amount of content from me. I've got dirty clothes on the floor. Don't look at that, alright? There you go. Ho-ho! Yeah. Bam. Video coming probably next week on like all of the news we have about this. I believe there's also going to be a I just ran myself over. There's going to be a Pixel sim of this too. Ready? Oosh. Yeah. Chinese arcane promo cards. So it's coming out in China in the summer. And then it's coming out in English-speaking countries later this year. And yeah, I'm going to be pretty sure just smashing it. I'm still going to be playing Lorcana, don't get me wrong. I just think it seems as though to me, basically this last 2 weeks, I just got to slam Star Wars Unlimited. I had so much fun just playing a new game. I just want to and then when I play Lorcana, I'm going to have fun. I don't want to ruin my force it. At the moment, there's no tournaments. I don't know if I'm casting anything. I don't know what's happening. You know? And this is my job, so I need to be a businessman, if you will. Because I don't know what's happening. I'm thinking a little bit in the dark, and I don't like that, you know. Like, I just need some stability, really. So yeah, I'm just exploring other games, just having fun with it. And League of Legends comes out. We've also got Gundam, also physical Gwents out this year. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I would love to do Lorcana or nothing but Lorcana, but I'm not really sure that's going to continue to be the case as things stand. But we'll see. We shall see. Yeah, the league cards are cool. So Hypnotize sounds good too, right? Hypnotize sounds good. PJ. I can see that you don't want to, but it's got Ward, mate. PJ's so good. 4 might be too many, though. I could see it. I feel like you just play Ursula, no? I am surprised that these decks aren't playing Ursula. Definitely want Elsa. Elsa's so good, mate. I actually love Elsa. I don't know how good Genie is, really. Not really sure I necessarily agree with the idea of Genie when you can just play Prince John's. Prince John's better than Genie, in my opinion. You definitely want Bruno's. Bruno plus Elsa. Oh, baby. That sounds strong. That sounds pretty damn strong, mate. Three-cost Medusa is hard to play in a Ruby Sapphire. Three-cost Medusa. What three-cost Medusa? You mean the Ruby Amethyst? Edwin, by the way, subbed all my days. Edwin, I'm so sorry I didn't say thank you. Oh, Ursula? Is it? I think it's kind of fine. Crab, I can see being important. Makes your Ursula a 4-3. It's pretty good. You definitely need a lot of discard. I just think like you want to play the Ursula 3 so you can sing Sudden Chill. That would be my intuition. But yeah, let's just like maybe look at more decks because I'm not going to play this. So I don't know. But my deck would look something like that. Pretty similar. I'd probably just go all in on Prince John's though. I'm not so sure I would play Genies, but maybe just having having like evasive cards plus. This does look solid. I think like the main thing is I would probably try and play some Ursula 3, but honestly this does look good. I'm being a bit of a hater, but I actually like it. Sorry, mate. Alright, let's just look at some more lists. There's not really much of interest elsewhere. From this tournament, let's look at winner display. Ooh, gunpowder popping off with some amber amethyst with lanterns and just in time. Oh my days, it's like a set 1 deck, mate. Fair play. You can only respect it, right? You can only respect it. Sven, but no Bolt, sadly, in that one. One in Spain. Nice to see a tournament from Spain. Ruby Sapphire won it. Alright, cool. Not too much to say. There just isn't really that much that's interesting me. We've got a Blurple gamer. Fair play, mate. Wasabi. I don't even know what that does. When you play this character, you may banish chosen item. It play against a law. Oh dear. Sven! I still think Sven's really good. By the way, just for the record. A lot of you are going to say, oh, Specky, I thought you said that Sven was really good and it's not. Yeah. Guess what, guys? All the other Blurple cards are terrible. The new Blurple cards are terrible. They're really bad. Very, very bad. But this looks alright. I would obviously like to see the 4th broom. I don't think there's that much you can really do differently. Maybe you could play McDuck Manor. More Svens. Less Hades. I don't know. I guess Hades is good. Yeah, Blurple could have really done... Like, I think Sven is really solid, but it's not like outstanding, right? It could have done with like one really outstanding card and Sven, and I would have been pretty excited by Blood Bowl. Blood Bowl got pretty good last set, towards the last set though. This one's on a rabbit. Don't like the rabbit in that. Oh, I know what I wanted to do with this deck. I wanted to play Chernobyls and Brooms, mate. Imagine not playing Chernobyls and Brooms. And now my deck is almost complete. We just had to have a little mental pause and remember that I didn't have the best cards in the deck yet. Imagine not playing Chernobyls and Brooms, guys. That would be ridiculous. And we want Hypnotize. Are these decks not even playing? Okay, they are playing Fox, thank God. Fox like has no business being in this deck from a design perspective, but it's just so broken that you have to play it. It's so busted. It's a bit crazy. I think it might be time for some bans, guys. I do think it's time for some bans. Fox, Smee, Flaversham, Popsicle. Get them gone, mate. I reckon they could go. What say ye? Probably does. I mean, how... I have to say, I don't know how good Crab is when you don't have that much bounce, but you probably need it. Been having decent success. All right, let's take a Butchers. You know that if you send me a deck, Angry Bosun, you are putting yourself in a position where you can get... Yeah, Crab is very good. The thing is like, if you're playing a Crab and you don't have like an abundance of bounce, it's not that insane, right? Crab is good. It looks a bit confused, mate. And when I say a bit, I mean very. You're basically trying to be, in my opinion, feel free to say you disagree, this deck is trying to be too many things at once. Are you an aggro deck? Are you not an aggro deck? Are you a mid-range deck? Are you not a mid-range deck? Are you questing? Are you controlling? And don't get me wrong, you can do that with Purple Steel. I just think as soon as you're putting Maleficence in the deck, you need to be playing Docks. And if you're playing Docks, I will say I do like Tink and Tink. This Captain Hook card, I don't like. I don't like the Zeus and the rabbits. And like, I want 4 goats. I want 4 brooms, 4 Diablos, 4 crabs. You know. I do like Tinkerbell though. I think Tinkerbell's really solid. But yeah. Storm, I don't think so. I think you just need to be a bit more like... This is kind of like a classic deck of... It's really sub-optimized. Like, it doesn't have a clear... Respectfully. Sorry, mate. Yeah, Pete as well. There's too many good cards which are left on the shop room floor. Meanwhile, you're playing 3 Bagheeras and 2 hooks, you know. This is a classic example of what I would do is I would delete this deck, start again, and go one by one and say, okay, what is the best card? And bam, bam, bam. Yeah, I can see it though, Angry Bosun. If you can strike that balance between being aggressive enough to beat Ruby Sapphire and controlling enough to beat other stuff, you could be onto a winner. I mean, he has rabbits, but only 2. And friends. Hey, Angelo. Want to say I really appreciate what you're doing. You're the reason I'm playing the game today. Followed you over here from Marvel Snap. Let's go, Angelo. Marvel Snap's having some economy changes soon, right? Oh, wait, nobody cares. I'm actually quite interested in seeing how it works. Yeah, cool deck, Angry Bosun. Sorry for being a misery guts. We've got Amethyst Emerald. Coming top 4 at a 125 player tournament. That's nice to see. And yeah, this one is Set My Heart. Has Set My Heart. Also not on Ursula 3. Very similar lists. It's on a Queen, 2 PJs. No Brooms, no Churners. I mean, I can kind of see no brooms, no churners in this meta, but oh wait, no, I can't. Always play brooms and churners, guys. You have to find a way. They're the best cards in the game. Genuinely. I'm not kidding. Play these cards. They're broken, in my opinion. Now, I'm not quite sure my list here is going to work, in fairness, because I don't really have much control. Ursula can go and Crab comes in, maybe. And then what's the difference? So I'm playing brooms and churners. To be fair, some cricky sounds nice too. But yeah, brooms and churners, guys. Very good cards. I only show you because I know you'll be brewing honest. Let's go, Angry Person. I appreciate it, mate. That is the rule. If you send me a list, you have to expect to get roasted. Now, with my list here, my list is like what I'm saying I want to play, but I don't really know how good it looks. I'm not going to lie. I don't have genies. I don't have crickies. But you know what I do have? Lots of one drops, and one drops are insane. Yeah, you could do Anna. I don't really think Set My Heart is any good. Lucifer's good though. Like that extra bit of discard is nice. My deck probably doesn't quite have enough though. It is a hard one to build. I could see like not playing the churners and brooms a bit. I think you just got to squeeze them in somehow though. Elsa plus Bruno sounds really nice. I don't think you need Genie though. I think you just go in on Prince John. Prince John is your draw. That's fine. Who needs Genies? You discard their hand. You go wide with brooms. So maybe you could go like down to... Could you ever go down to 3 Ursula? Probably not in this meta, right? But yeah, you could definitely... Like this Diablo is not that good, right? Let's be honest. This Diablo is really not that good. So I'd probably do like something like this. Cricky is much better than Crabs, to be honest. I'm not even sure I would play 3 Crabs. But I think like that seems kind of reasonable. I would probably want to squeeze in some more discard. I think Lucifer is pretty bad though, I'm not going to lie. I kind of hate Lucifer, but you do need a bit of extra discard. But that was also where my idea of Ursula Deceiver of All was. 4 Broom and 4 Chernobog with 2 Diablo is a bit much. That's where we disagree, my friend. There's no such thing as too many 1-drops when they draw cards. They're the best cards in the game. This is a very reasonable amount of 1-drops to play when you're playing Amethyst. How many 1-drops? 16. That's super fine. You can't play Library in this deck. You need Library. Library's good with B-Prep. Library's good with B-Prep. I don't think Library's good elsewhere. Queen's Castle, now that's a different story. Queen's Castle, by the way, a very underrated card, I think, at the moment. If you're on like the quicker side of things, you want a Queen's Castle. If you're on the slower side of things, like a Ruby Amethyst deck, you play the Library. And that is just that. That is the opinion of a man that playtested both of these cards before Seattle many times in an aggressive Amethyst Steel deck. And Queen's Castle was light years ahead. Queen's Castle probably will make a comeback at some point. If you guys wanted to try and cook like a weird deck right now that could break the meta, Queen's Castle might not be a bad starting point. Maybe. I don't know if that's true though. I also thought about playing like a Queen's Castle in my Ruby Am deck. I think it could be okay. I think Castle's really solid. But yeah, this deck's solid, I think. I don't think this Diablo 2 is that good. I'd rather just play more 1-drops on turn 2. Right, double 1-drop rather than this guy. He's okay though. I don't know how good Genie is when you just have Prince John. I think I'd rather just play Prince John. Maybe I'm wrong. Cricky's insane. Cricky's unbelievably good. Really, really underrated card. 3/4, questing for 3 with that ability is absolutely mental. That is so powerful. It's probably a 4 of, to be honest. Cricky is unbelievably good. And it does also mean that you're less inclined to play Crab, which I don't think you're really getting the best out of Crab in this deck. At all, to be completely honest. I mean, Crab's fine. Gives you some early game control. Crab's good, but Cricky's on another planet good. I love Cricky, man. To be honest, Cricky is probably the key to making green good. It's so good. People always say 4 Crickies is a lot. It's good. I play Cricky in my blue-green as well, right? Now, this setup I have doesn't have any 4 drops. Is that a problem? Probably. Genie Queen. That is definitely a key weakness. I still think the Ursula Deceiver of All is very solid, though. Just singing Friends, Sun and Chill. Probably not 4 of them, but like I feel like you want at least a couple, right? But yeah, I don't know. Lucifer seems fine in this deck as well because you're pretty low on Inkables. I would like to try this deck. I don't think it's ever going to set the world on fire, though. I think you're always playing at least one Lucifer. Kind of interested to see, but this got top 4 in a 125 player tournament. That's really impressive. So this is like a mid-range Amethyst Steel that had Flipping Genie, Supportive Friend. That's so random, but thanks for the thumbnail card, mate. Strength Friends. This is alright. Where are the brooms? Okay, this is not alright. How does this get top 4? It's crazy. Does this guy just not queue into Ruby Sapphire for the whole top cut? That is the only explanation I can think of. There's no way this deck beats Ruby Sapphire, right? There's no chance. There is absolutely no way this deck beats Ruby Sapphire. Benja's not that good against Ruby Sapphire, against a competent Ruby Sapphire player. It is good, but this deck is not beating Ruby Sapphire. You guys, you can find, all right, the best Amethyst Steel player in the world, let's say Zach Bivens, right? Let's say, okay, Zach Bivens, you can give him this deck. I will play Ruby Sapphire right now with 0 practice, and he will not be able to beat me. Not that hard to repeat them. Repeat! Bruv, they're going to be like 8 ink, and you're going to be like 4 lore. You only have 8 1-drops. Oh my god. This deck's got no chance against Ruby Sapphire consistently. I mean, you're going to take the games off them occasionally going first, but you ain't winning going second. Not against anyone that's half competent and doesn't brick. I'm really surprised to see a deck like this do so well. Fair play, but it's so slow. It's so slow. Do I like the way it's built? Almost. There's things I like about it quite a bit. I just want to see more 1-drops. It's the 1-drop problem that I have a very different belief in the 1-drops clearly in this game and how good they are. It's really important for a deck like this against Ruby Sapphire to develop a very wide board as quickly as possible. You do not want to play Smee on turn 2 against Ruby Sapphire. That is not a line that's winning. This deck is no way beating Ruby Sapphire. Not a chance. I cannot believe it got top 4. I can't believe it. Can anyone find me the bracket? Here we go. This is pretty cool. It's nice to see 20 Lord doing a lot of content. See, you guys don't need me anymore. You got 20 Lord Pro doing all the grafting. Yep. So Jacob in the top 16 up against Ruby Amethyst. Fine. Yeah, I can see that being a good matchup. Amethyst Steel usually has the edge in that one. Oh, they lost. Rip. That was Jacob's top 16 deck. Let's have a look at it. Robin Hood? Why? Maybe contact Zach and he tells you how easy you repeat Red Blue. Bro, Nadia, I'm telling you for a fact that deck does not beat Ruby Sapphire, alright? I really do this. I've played a lot of Amethyst Steel. I'm telling you, there is not a chance. There is nothing in that deck which tells me it could beat it. Zach Bivens, I said his deck would not beat Ruby Sapphire at the World Championships, and he beat Ruby Sapphire. But guess what? I don't know how he did it. It was crazy. And his deck was at least, you know, he had lines with like Zeus. Yeah, but he eye rolled. He got lucky. And Zach's deck had Zeus and more 1-drops and Lawrence. This is, and it played Rabbits and Zeus, right? This is a very different deck. And Zach still got lucky. And he would be the first to say that in that game. It was the biggest upset of the game, of the tournament. This just makes no sense to me, how it could top 4 an event. I'm impressed. So Jacob's list, which is the one that lost to Ruby Amethyst. Robin Hood. What the heck is that, mate? Doc, Genie, and Rabbit? Holy moly. What is this deck? I mean, fair play. Because this is certainly Jim's own deck. You have to respect someone that builds their own deck, right? They haven't net decked anybody. They're doing their own thing. And I have a lot of respect for that. I like that they're playing 4 copies of everything. They know what they want. Unfortunately, what they want is not really stuff I like. What don't I like about this deck? What do I like about this deck? No, what don't I like about this deck? What I find interesting is the Doc, Genie, and Rabbit with the Cobra. That is honestly pretty cool. I respect that. That's pretty cool. Like, the Cobra is very overrated in these decks, in my opinion. Very overrated. But, hey, the Cobra is going to be great in this deck because you're going to have a lot of bricks. 20 on ink. Yeah, but you have Cobra. I kind of respect it. Like, I actually do respect that. That part, I don't think it's correct, but at least I can appreciate the idea behind it. However, I think if you're playing Rabbits, you have to play Zeus. What's the point of playing Rabbits if you're not in this deck if you're not playing Zeus, right? You don't have B preps. Robin Hood is terrible. I never liked this card to begin with. I've always been a bit of a Robin Hood hater, but it's particularly bad in the current metagame because of Storm taking out the 1-drop. Like, the problem is you have the best 1-drops in the game and you're going to play Captain Hook and Robin Hood. Bruv. What? Oh, it hurts my heart. Brooms and Churnabogs are the best, alongside Diablo, are the best 1-drops in the game. And you're going to play these mediocre, below average cards. It's crazy. For your question about your aggro, if you were to cut anything for a 4th dog, probably fire the cannons. Do you find it when you need? I mean, who knows? Sometimes you do. Fire the cannons is good, though. Fire the cannons is good. Thing is like... But yeah, you could play 4 docks and just cut the fire the cannons, probably. That's fine. Honey Marin's probably the other card which you could look at getting rid of, I would say. Alright, I want to see this bracket then. Because I think this one had some brackets, right? Maybe it didn't. What do we do with a bracket, guys? Win rate matrix. Oh my god, that's cool. That's a new one. Okay, hello. So, Ruby Amethyst had a 67% win rate against Red Blue. Fair enough. How did it do against Sapphire Steel? 33 against an aggro version. Huh? Where's normal Sapphire Steel? Oh, items 50%. It's not really quite a big enough pool of data, is it? It's interesting still. I think this is the same VOD, right? Bruv, I'm literally streaming Twitch. Why are you giving me an ad? Ugh. Twitch, you actually suck. It's not supposed to work like that. If you're live streaming, you're not supposed to get ads on Twitch. This was day 2. Did the top 4 split or something? But yeah, unfortunately, you can't see the matchups that they had. Hey, Coffee and Composing, what's up? But yeah, nice to see. Like, honestly, Inkdex is a very, very good site. Fair play to them. So the Ruby Amethyst set, let's take a look. Bro. Just play the flipping playset of the Brooms and Chatterbox, guys, for the love of God. Finders Keepers, Bee King. I like the rest of the deck a lot. I actually... 3 rabbits, no snake. Okay, I hate it. Oh my God. Guys. Guys. Churner Dog, eh? This looks pretty similar to the list I had. They're not playing the 3-cost dock, which I think is a mistake. Season Without Flynn's kind of fine, though. It is still a good card. Season Without Flynn's kind of fine. It quests for 2 and it's got big stats. I think it's alright. This setup looks pretty solid. I think you really do want the... There's no lady. 3 Churner... Fair play. Fair play. They've gone all in. This 1-cost lady, though. She's okay. It's honestly a cool setup. I respect it. The dock, the 3-cost dock is really good in this deck. I actually watched Snow White, by the way, the other day. Snowhvit. I watched it in Sweden. This is a different Churner Dog. Invited to the Ball. The Prince. Dale. Doc! Now we're talking. This looks good. I prefer this one. Yeah, it's not as aggressive. This, honestly, is quite close to how I would play the deck. I think that's a nice list. 3 ladies, 2 ladies, 3 Chernobog is a lot. That is going to brick. I'll say that much. But yeah, this is not bad. This is pretty similar to how I'd play it. Wouldn't be exactly the same, but pretty close. They did have Cricky, right? Please tell me they had Cricky. Oh no! Okay, I hate it. Dock is good because you get Cricky on 4. I still think Lantern's good in that deck. I'm such a hater, aren't I, guys? Usually I'm a bit more positive, but today I'm just unfiltered, I guess. So another Sing Together. Cricky's in there. Sir Hiss. Why, though? Why is everyone just play Sir Hiss in this deck? I don't really get it. Sir Hiss, more like Sir Miss. Ha ha ha. Huh. Dwarf's Mine won a tournament. That's cool. Penny's in there. Bronzel's Tower, Daisy, Cindy. You just have to think this is just a worse deck than a dock deck that, you know, you could do this and replace the Amber cards with Sapphire cards and the deck would probably be better, right? Let's be honest. Just because of Bell. Ooh, Bell in Sapphire and Amethyst. As you can see on Friends, that's pretty good if you can hit the one item. That's kind of cool, though. I can kind of see it. Bro, like, no one plays the aggro version of this deck. It's crazy. I think it's so good. I really do. Don't know if I mentioned that. Aggro? Oh, one Maleficent. I'll allow it. It's an acceptable deck. It's got one Maleficent. Honestly, okay, there's some things about this deck which, okay, there's one thing that's like glaringly obvious, which I think is completely terrible, but the rest is honestly very, very respectable. One Maleficent is infinitely more Maleficents than zero. Multiple. It's multiple times better. It's infinitely better. Like, genuinely, I don't think you can make a reasonable argument to play less than one Maleficent in Amethyst Steel. I think one is absolutely auto-include in Amethyst Steel. Completely auto-include. People don't agree with that, but that's my opinion. So if I see one Maleficent, you get a thumbs up from me. You're playing the one Maleficent because otherwise Specky's going to roast your deck, and guess what? Now I like your deck. What I don't like, guys, that's right, 3 Peats. You got to play 4 Peats, mate. Simple as that. Cut a White Rose. Why are you playing? You're really telling me a White Rose is better than a Peat? Come on. Come on now. You're really telling me that, mate? Because you're wrong. But it's a good deck otherwise. I like it. I think White Rose is a bit overrated as well, actually. But yeah, I like the list. Looks good. If you're building like a more mid-range approach, I think my list would be very, very similar to this. I would be playing 4 Peats. I would probably be playing 3 Maleficents. Maybe 2, probably 3. Not sure about Calhoun. I kind of hate crabs, but yeah. That's why I play the aggro mode, so I don't have to challenge. Hey, Duck, what's up? Hope you're good, mate. How's things? I am looking at decks and getting annoyed because no one plays Maleficents. Libraries in this one. I think this one also looks good. I just think Queen's Castle is better. Oh, okay. Okay. Honestly, it is... This is painful. I see an Amethyst deck and I see 2 copies of Brooms and 2 Chernobyls. Iago is quite cool. Mother Knows Best, I think, makes sense in this deck. This just looks pretty reasonable. 3 Fox! Okay. Okay. No, it doesn't. I take it all back. That's a cardinal sin. Big shout out to my friend Sky that took down this 5k with Sapphire Steel. Sky is a Sapphire Steel connoisseur. He is a bit of an OG Sapphire Steel guy. Friend of mine. 1 Fox for being validated. Yeah, but come on. 3 Fox? 3 Fox? Oh my god. Do you know how broken that card is? Very. And my man is a Cheacher connoisseur. You have to respect it. Cheacher's a really cool card. During your turn, whenever you put a card into your inkwell, if it's the second card you put into your hand, you may draw a card. Really cool that he took this tournament down with a Cheacher build, sticking to his guns. He is like the Sapphire Steel guy in my mind. Like if he had to say to me, name the Sapphire Steel guy, I would name him. You've got a lot of Sapphire Steel guys though. But he would be the one that comes to mind. Especially from the Big Swan days. Red Blue took this one down. Anything interesting? Not Blue Cusco. Pretty cool. Oh! Now we're talking. See? Aggro is good, guys. Like, look at aggro pop off for no reason. And if you think this aggro deck's good, try mine! It's way probably better. It's more resilient. But this is cool. Heck yeah. Go on, Adam. Amber Steel Zoo. He's got a little John, mate. It's a 2/4 bodyguard. During your turn, this character gains evasive. yeah, like imagine playing Little John or a fox. You know, that's the fox level, and fox kind of reminds me of a bodyguard in a lot of ways. This one's on Go-Go, which I like. Too quickie. This looks solid too. Also Cove. Yeah, this looks good. Nice. Very nice. Very, very nice. All right, we are going to move on over to the sponsored segment of the stream, guys, on YouTube, which is we're going to be playing Arcane Rush. We'll end the YouTube stream there. Thanks for hanging out. Give it a like if you enjoyed. Sorry for being a bit of a negative Nancy. But if you would like to come watch me play Arcane Rush, it's going to be on Twitch, and you can use the link in the description to download the game using my link. Maybe we'll just continue it on... Should we just continue it on Thingamajigger? Let's just continue on YouTube, whatever. Game Arcane Rush. Title Arcane Rush. Hashtag ad. So this is a sponsored segment. Nah, I'm going to end the YouTube stream there, guys. But come hang out on Twitch. See ya. Alright, YouTubers. Twitchers, rather. This is Arcane Rush.